Pope Francis has expressed his heartfelt gratitude for the work Cardinal George Pell performed throughout his life in the Church. Within the Vatican, Australia's highest-ranked Catholic is being remembered as a fierce defender of his faith. More from Brett McLeod.
The Pope's condolences came in the form of a telegram to the Dean of the College of Cardinals. I've learned with sorrow the news of the death of Cardinal Pell. I offer my sincere condolences, remembering with heartfelt gratitude his dedication to the gospel and the church. And in an apparent reference to Pell's conviction on child sex charges later quashed, Pope Francis says he unwaveringly followed his Lord with perseverance, even in the hour of trial. While Pell's legacy in Australia is polarised, it's a different story in his last home. Within the Vatican itself, what will be the feeling today about George Pell going?
A lot of sorrow. I've had a lot of my friends that work and live within the Vatican. They're posting their memories of him, and they're as shocked as I am.
In one of his last interviews just days ago, the Cardinal was still speaking with characteristic vigour about his faith.
We Catholics, it's a little bit difficult not to be conservative because we follow a man who died 2,000 years ago.
I was with him on the afternoon after the funeral of Pope Benedict, hale, hearty, in his wonderful, usual sense.
His personal secretary says Cardinal Pell was in good spirits and chatting with hospital staff immediately after successful hip surgery, then went into cardiac arrest. The 81-year-old had a history of heart problems. The Church now losing two of its leading conservative figures in quick succession.
To have two men that were so powerful gone in just 2 weeks, it's a shock.
Europe correspondent Brett McLeod joins me now from the Vatican. Brett, any word on the next steps?
Well, Pete, there had been an expectation his Mass would be held here tomorrow, but then there were concerns that it might be too soon for people who want to come out from Australia, so it might not now be held off until Monday. He is expected to start lying in state sometime today inside a chapel at St Peter's Basilica ahead of that Mass, and then eventually him being taken back to Australia for his funeral service, Pete.
OK, thank you, Brett McLeod. Daniel Andrews has shot down the prospect of a state memorial service for George Pell, claiming it would be deeply distressing for child abuse survivors. The Premier also revealed he has no plans to attend the Cardinal's funeral. Reid Butler reports.
As the faithful pause to remember Cardinal George Pell in Ballarat,
for me, he's a good man.
in Deer Park, our Catholic Premier was steamrolling suggestions of a state memorial service.
I couldn't think of anything that would be more distressing for victim survivors than that.
Cardinal Pell had many links to Victoria. It's where he grew up and where he did prison time before being freed after a High Court appeal. The initial conviction, something the federal opposition claims should provide cause for reflection for the Victorian Labor government and its institutions that led this modern-day political persecution.
Never ever forget that predator brothers and priests were systematically moved around. People can make their own judgments. I hope you're getting a sense of what mine are.
But it was the Premier's judgment on another issue coming under question today.
Like, seriously, it was a barbecue.
Daniel Andrews facing a grilling over a weekend soiree with the Prime Minister and Lindsay Fox at the billionaire businessman's Portsea mansion.
I deal with many, many people. And I deal with everybody appropriately.
Anthony Albanese copping more heat because he travelled there in the Fox family chopper from Geelong.
What was discussed, what promises were made, what arrangements were made.
I have private meetings all the time, and I have private meetings which are private meetings.
I know there's a whole lot of people who are out there looking to get an interview with the steps from the beach house, and now they can look for an interview from the gas bottle.
And speaking of beach houses and barbecues, the Premier can likely look forward to both in the immediate future. From tonight, he's off on a break for at least the next 2 weeks.
Thanks very much, everyone.
Reid Butler, 9 News.